Hello, PCA community. It is Monday again, and I'm here with a whole group of musicians who've just made a big journey. They've headed off right before Thanksgiving to Allstate auditions, and they were selected. And they're going to tell you more about it. And I can't wait for you to hear their journey of a lot of practice, multiple years of it in many cases, different disciplines. But I hope you're inspired. I know I have been just in the workup. So let's get going. Let them introduce themselves to you, starting on my left.
Hey, my name is Simeon Howard. I'm in 10th grade. This is my second year here at PCA, and I live in Brentwood. And I think it's a great honor to represent PCA at New Hampshire Allstate.
And what's your instrument?
Oh, yeah, I play cello.
All right.
My name is Mason Rhodes. I'm in 11th grade. I live in Rollinsford, and I've been at PCA for 5 years now. And I got accepted into Allstate for singing. And I'm excited to be a part of Allstate because I get to meet a lot of these different people that I wouldn't otherwise and participate as a community in a greater form of what I like to do. So.
That's great. Thanks, Mason.
My name is Anatoly. I'm in 10th grade, and I live in Dover, and this is my 13th year at PCA, and I'm a soprano. And I'm super excited for Allstate, just to make new friends and get to see old ones again, and just spend some time focusing on the thing that we love in a group that, like, everybody wants to carry the weight and everybody wants to participate.
That's cool. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chloe Tan. I'm in 11th grade and I'm from Stratton, New Hampshire. This is my 6th year at PCA, and I auditioned as an alto for singing. I'm really excited to do Allstate again because it's similar to what Anna said. It's just such a great community, and you get to be with people who love what they're doing.
I'm Chloe Dye, and I'm in 11th grade. I live in Stratton, New Hampshire. I've been at PCA for 4 years. This is my 4th year, and I play violin. And just being selected for Allstate, I'm really excited to perform in an orchestra with all these amazing musicians and to just perform with people.
Yeah. So going backwards, how long have you been playing violin, Chloe?
This is my 7th year playing.
Okay. How long have you been singing alto?
I was singing alto when I joined choir in 6th grade, so this is my 6th year also.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Chloe Tan, you also play piano.
Yes, I do play piano.
So, yeah, do other things besides.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Anna? How long have you been singing?
Well, like, since I was born.
Yep.
Okay.
I love singing, but I've been in choir since, like, 4th grade, I think.
Okay. Great. How about you guys?
I've been in choir since 3rd grade. I've been a bass just this year. I've been a bass for a while now, but
you've got a real smooth voice too. That bass just echoes. That's really cool.
I guess. Thank you. But yeah, since 3rd grade.
Wonderful. And Simeon, when did you pick up the cello?
5 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Did you do anything before the cello?
I experimented with some instruments in like elementary school, like, alto saxophone, things like that, because I used to live in band. But yeah, that's as far as it went.
Why the cello?
It was an experiment. My parents wanted to give us all music lessons when we moved here to New Hampshire, because they both have a musical background.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I chose cello just to see, if I liked it, and I did.
They stuck. Well,
yeah,
that's really neat. Well, it's great to hear all their stories, your musical stories. So, Simeon, a little bit more of this inspiration to play. And, music sounds like it's in your family's story. Share a little bit of that, and maybe just how your family or others have inspired you to step into music.
So my mom studied opera in college, and then, even my grandparents have musical backgrounds, and my dad is a worship leader. He still leads worship. So yeah, that's my musical background.
Okay. That sounds like the bar is pretty high. Was that something you aspired to do? Did they sort of push you and it took off from there? How'd it go?
I never felt pressured. My parents just encouraged me to do the things that I loved. But they're definitely role models for success in those areas.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, Mason, you're talking about role models. Who's been a role model for you and influenced you on your musical journey?
Well, since I've been at PCA, I've had one role model that stuck out to me the most, and that was Mr. Stevens. I love Mr. Stevens.
Tell people about Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, he was the choral director for 10 years, I believe it was, at PCA. And then I had him for my first couple years of PCA since I came here in 7th grade and all the way up 7th and 8th. And that was just an amazing experience. The person I was learning to sing from was really just a band teacher, but seeing Mr. Stevens and hearing what he had to say and learning from him was really, really helpful. And it's something I'm not going to forget about. It's just awesome.
Was there a manner in which he did it that was different, or
just the way he taught? He's just great. I mean,
so who else had Mr. Stevens? It's yeah. So a couple of you did. Well, Mr. Stevens was, for the listeners, was our fine arts director. His wife, Susan Stevens, is still part of our fine arts program, big part of it, and we're so grateful. Many of the kids came to PCA, and in fact, Julie, who knows? Some of you know Julie. Yeah, many of you know Julie. Julie is at Wheaton and studying music even now, which is great. Well, Chloe Tan, can you share a challenge that you faced in music, maybe singing or playing, either one, and how you were able to overcome it?
Yeah. I think as musicians, we all kind of suffer from crippling self-esteem issues because music is there's so many little nitpicky things. You're always trying to fix one thing and it's never perfect and it never will be. And a lot of us get in our heads a lot. I know I do, piano and singing less, but mostly piano. I get in my head a lot about it, and it's hard to realize what you've done well when you're so focused on trying to fix the next thing. So I'm still working on it. I still have problems with it, but it's really just keeping this mindset of you have to be, like, it's good that you can recognize things you need to work on, but you also need to be able to acknowledge the things that you did well, because otherwise you're going to get stuck in your head and it's never going to end well.
Yeah, so let's just go to the Allstate audition that we just did, right? So can you take us through kind of how you did that process, right, through the audition?
Yeah.
You described to me before this, and for the listeners, that they actually, their audition, they have 3 different parts in their audition. So it sounds like you have this self-talk going on probably before, in the middle. How did it go for you? Or give me examples of how that went.
So I'm going to be completely honest. My mind was entirely blank for the first hour before my audition. There was nothing happening up here.
Was that by design, or does that just?
I completely zoned out. I think I just shut down. The first room that they put you in, we had to sing as vocalists what we call the art song. It's just a hard solo song. You're in a room with a judge by yourself, and the judge is the only other person there. I went into this sort of with the mindset that if you get in, it's great. If you don't get in, it was a good experience. The audition was a good experience. So I was talking myself through the song as I'm singing it, trying to keep on top of things like intonation and whatever. And once I got out, I didn't feel great about it, but it happened. There were things that I think I did well, and I tried to focus on those instead of getting stuck on this high note, whatever, wasn't perfectly in tune, something like that. They take you to another room. You do this thing called a choral for us as singers. It was basically just sing your part with 3 other parts, playing as a track to see if you can keep your part. And chorus taught me really well for that. So I felt really prepared for that. Sing a scale. That one was okay. And then sight reading. I get lucky having musical background as a pianist. I can identify pitches well enough. So it went okay, I think. The sight reading wasn't as scary. The only thing that's scary about it is you don't see it before you do it.
Okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So that's what the audition process was like.
So how much time is in between, and how do you mentally, sort of sounds like you just clear my mind before, sounds like you came out, you described coming out, okay, things that went well, or didn't go well, but things went well. And then how much time before you go into the next room?
It depends on how much time the person in front of you takes.
Yeah.
So when I was done, there was already a person in the other room, and there was a person in front of me waiting to go into that room. So I think I was outside waiting in between my first room and my second room for 10-ish minutes.
Okay. And are you trying to clear your mind again? Do you how do you mentally deal with it?
I started talking to the other girl.
Okay.
Just get my mind off things and make friends.
Well, thanks for sharing. I can't imagine that you all have maybe different ways of dealing with the stress and that. But any thoughts on what Chloe just shared about being this sort of self-critical spirit of yourself as you look at your own, or is that unique to Chloe?
No.
It's not.
No. Okay. You all can relate.
Yeah, that sort of perfectionist. that's like Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for sharing.
When I sing, it's always like, is this what other people hear? Because I like what it sounds like in here.
Mhm.
But
Right.
then when I sing it, I don't know what it sounds like. And sometimes I don't like the sound of my own voice. And it's like, that's not what I want to be presenting.
So how do you keep working through it, Jason?
You know, I hear people tell me I sound good, but it's like, I just don't know. I don't know if I like what I hear. I just don't. I just try my best, and my best. So,
Okay.
it's up to them to say, hey, we liked that, or hey, we didn't really like that. It's up to them.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. It sounds like, and I've shared with y'all before, I'm not a musician, so I don't have any like background. I'm just amazed by your willingness to go to that place of really working, striving for excellence, and knowing that, short of God, there's nothing perfect. So pretty cool. So let's talk a little bit more of the experience of Chloe Dye. Tell us a little bit about what's coming. You all mentioned in the introduction that something's coming. You were auditioned for Allstate. But tell a little bit about what's ahead and what excites you the most about what is ahead.
Yeah, so for those who got into Allstate, I'm not sure when it is, but sometime later in winter, we're going to be given pieces so that we can perform with everyone accepted into Allstate. And it'll be in April, I think April 3rd through 5th. We go to Concord and perform over the weekend with everyone accepted and just like perfect everything. And then we have the performance the last day. And that's, I believe, what would happen.
Okay. Yeah. What are you looking forward to most about this whole process?
I think, like what Anna said, I'm really excited about working with people who are really dedicated to what they do and enjoy what they're doing and who are like excelling in music. Excited about performing with other musicians who play the same things I do, because at PCA there aren't many violinists. So performing with other violinists, I think, will help like shape me in the way that I play. And oftentimes when you play with people who are really good, you play better than you usually do. And I think that I'll learn a lot of things from this just to improve my musicality.
That's great. I look forward to that day when you get to do it. Do it with a whole bunch of really amazing young musicians like yourselves. Mason, you mentioned earlier that you went freshman year, you auditioned. You did not your sophomore year. You came back this year. I can imagine the dedication it takes just to be a part of the vocal program here with all the other things. But how did you get ready for this audition? And how is it different than what you've done in the past?
So this year I put more work into it. I made sure that I was prepared for my music. I made sure I got this. They gave this out. They gave out the materials so you can start practicing midway through the summer.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to, you can start then. I did not. I started I printed out the music maybe about a month and a half, and then I slowly started working on it. I got some parts of it memorized. And then I really kicked into high gear probably about 2 weeks before, making sure I had everything right, getting the songs down pat so I knew what I was doing. And I just felt more prepared. The song for this year was a lot easier, in my opinion, than the one freshman year. Not because of the way that, not because of the music itself, but just the way you can get into the music this year. I felt like I could maybe not understand exactly what's happening, but while I was singing, it felt more comfortable than freshman year, where it was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that was really my experience freshman year. Was like, I don't feel great about this, but we're going to try it anyway because I feel prepared enough to try it.
Well, it sounds like that whole preparation time is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even realize that did you all have that opportunity, that you had some music you could prep for the instrumentalists too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How much time, Mason, did you, in those, when your last few weeks, were you putting in?
Oh, hours a day. I would spend probably, I would get crazy looks for everybody around the table.
Yeah. There's a whole, like, they're all comparing right now.
Yeah,
You can't
no,
see it.
I would
Yeah. How much
spend-
time did each of them spend?
I'd spend maybe probably like 30 minutes. Like, I spent a lot of my lunch periods, working with different great choral directors, like Miss Shafana, who was the choral director my freshman year, and then Mr. Rains as well during lunch and like after school and stuff like that. And then at home, I practiced forever, like just over and over and over again until I got it.
Was your voice okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've never lost my voice. So
That's impressive.
Yeah. So why do you bring that up?
Something that applies to most musicians, but especially for vocalists, we can't do too much and practice for too long. Otherwise, we strain it and it wears out our voice, and it doesn't end well for us if we do that. And we also get stuck in our heads after that. After a certain amount of times, you can only do it so many times before you start freaking out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like week of, I think I ran the program like maybe once every other day, but my voice gets really tired often, and I can get like laryngitis really easily, and so I did not want to aggravate it at all that week. But yeah, but Mason has a really strong voice.
Yeah,
He can
I guess.
do that, and
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for the more context. Chloe Dye, back to you. What have you learned about teamwork and collaboration in this Allstate musical journey of yours?
Yeah, so for the musicians, at least, not musicians, for the instrumentalists in the symphony, we had a mock audition in front of everybody. So we'd perform our repertoire, our solo, our excerpt, and then our director, Mrs. Vino, she would ask us 2 scales to perform. So that'd get you in, like, kind of get the nerves out at first so that you'd be more prepared in the actual audition. And I think that helped everyone realize that we also gave each other feedback on what they did well on, what they could do better on. And that part of it was, in a sense, teamwork, because you understood each other's capabilities and you could just encourage them in those parts of their music and their skill level. And when we arrived at the audition, it wasn't like we all were just thinking of ourselves and thinking that we're like, I'm better than this person, I'm going to do better, or I'm worse than them, I'm not going to get in. It was more of like encouraging each other that they're going to do well, they're going to do their best. Just pray before you go in, relax, breathe. And that was, a sense, like our teamwork and not every man for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you find that pretty common across all the musicians?
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's got to be encouraging. I mean, you all are, really trying to perform at the highest level, at this stage of your musical careers. I can imagine the pressure that is, and I'm glad you're able to support each other. I know part of that, a couple of you have alluded to it, is just how even your faith has been tied into this. So Simeon, just how do you see your faith and music as a way just to glorify God, to bring those together?
Yeah, so I like to categorize a lot of things. So I've got like my academic growth path, my spiritual growth path. Cello fell under academics, but I think as I interpreted music and I should put some more feeling into my art, there became sort of a spiritual aspect to it. And there's this sense that doing something that you're good at glorifies God at the same time. So there's also this sense of fulfillment. And then also just the people that I meet in the music community, specifically in the school that I go to, they, lots of good stuff, like healthy criticism when you're listening to each other's stuff.
Okay.
There's just listening to each other, but also like outside of the music, they also just have great qualities. Some like producing the same fruits that Christians strive to produce. So they've been great examples for me in the music community, especially my teacher, who's really set an example.
Wow. So do you take some lessons and do some work outside of PCA?
Yeah, I go to the Manchester Community Music School. My teacher is Sorrel Guide them.
Okay. Wow. How many of you all do extra work beyond PCA?
I do.
Yeah, so many, you above and beyond. And then, Chloe, I imagine your piano.
Your piano, yeah, not for voice.
For vocals. Wow. Anna, For you, can you share anything that you sense God has really taught you through your journey as a musician? Since birth, apparently. No, it's so
Well,
cool that you love to sing.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a calling. Like, it's definitely been a calling. Like, I have videos of little me like singing, and I knew that was what I wanted to do. But I think that one thing he's really taught me is that it's not me that's singing. It's like he's working through me, and I can't do it without him. So I struggled for a bit on being confident in singing, because when I get nervous when I'm singing, my voice gets really shaky and it'll cut in and out. And so I would go to like recitals and performances with my voice teachers, students, and I'd just like I just have such a shaky voice. I'd cut in and out, and I just feel terrible after. And I was like, what is missing here? And so I thought, oh, practice more. And that wasn't what was missing. And then I realized it was God that I needed, and I needed the confidence to know that he gave me this calling. It wasn't me that said, hey, I should do singing. It was him that was like, you are meant to sing. And so it's also him that gave me my voice. And if I trust fully that my singing voice is how God wants it to sound like how I sing is how he picked me to sing, then I shouldn't be worried about what other people say about how I sing. And that just really helped me be more confident when I'm singing, and helped like the quality of my voice as well, knowing that I'm not performing for me, I'm not performing for them, I'm performing for God. So
Wow. Where did you learn that? Where did that come from? Being able to pull that together.
like helping me be more confident to
Just
God.
relying on God in this journey that you're on, and the pressure that you feel. And
I think I went through a period where I stopped listening to Christian music as much, and then I found some of my old favorite songs, and I think a lot of the messaging in those songs helped me realize that like that's where my confidence lies, and just a lot of help from other people too that are like, put your trust in God, like listening to chapels or at church too. Like a lot of the messaging was put your trust in God, and I just hadn't followed that yet.
okay. And you've been here 13 years?
Yeah.
Where along your musical journey did that start to click in? I imagine it was a process. Was that just recently? Was that a few years ago?
Yeah. So young me was very confident and definitely thought I was the best. So young me thought I was the best. And then I hit middle school and I was like, oh, I'm really good at singing. But then it was like, am I good at singing? I couldn't think I was the best anymore because I'm human. And so I'm not the best. I'm not perfect. And so middle school is really when I hit that patch of being like, am I a good singer? Is singing what I'm supposed to do? How can I perform in front of people without like just totally losing it? And then I went, I'm trying to think of, I think high school is really when it started to click for me. We had chapel last year was on wisdom. And even though a lot of the verses were about wisdom, there was a lot of putting into practice the Bible. And so I had heard a lot of verses, put your trust in God, everything you do is for God. That's something that is really emphasized in the theater community. Like every night we pray that we can glorify Him. We end our shows pointing to God. And I just realized that I needed to put that into practice. It wasn't just something I could hear, like, trust God. And then I said, no, I can do it. But I need to say, no, it's Him doing it. It's not me.
Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Again, I imagine each of you has a journey. Some may have some similarities or not, but I know that you're each, still seeking and finding God through your music. And one of the things you do, whether you know it or not, is by playing or singing, you bring us into that journey, and we're so appreciative of you doing it. So let's look ahead a little bit. Chloe Tan, you have any advice for younger students who might want to follow and pursue excellence in music, maybe even someday audition for Allstate?
Yeah.
Because there are a whole bunch of musicians that we're heading into the Christmas concerts time, and they may be listening to you.
Yeah. For people who want to audition for Allstate, do it. There's no harm that comes out of it. The worst you can do is, but they're going to say no. You'll be fine. Another thing I think they need to realize is specifically for ensemble auditions, and a lot of people don't realize this, I didn't until Mr. Aids pointed it out to me. Ensemble auditions for students, they are placing you in the ensemble that would fit you the best, that you can learn the most from. So you can't see it as if you don't get into the highest level choir, or if you don't get accepted at all, you can't see it as you're a crappy musician, because you're not. But think of it like if you put a 2-year-old in a calculus class, they're not going to learn anything from it because they're not ready for it.
Sure.
So their goal is to see where you can succeed and excel the most in. And that might not be the highest level choir. That might not even be Allstate or any ensemble you audition for. But they just want to see you succeed, and they don't think you will there, which sounds really harsh.
So trust the process.
Trust the
these
process.
good people who
Yes.
yeah, watch.
They know what they're doing, and they're not out to fail you. Nobody is. They want to see you succeed, and they will put you in the place where you can succeed the best.
That's really encouraging. And how about somebody just starting off in the music journey? Any thoughts on whether they should stick with it? We see a lot, Anna mentioned middle school, we see a lot of folks who start and they may say, I don't know.
Keep with it, at least for a few years. If after 10 years, you're like, maybe don't. Okay. 10 years is excessive.
Okay.
Do a decade. Do it for a while, because maybe it might not click right away.
Okay.
It's a really cool experience, and it's the way that I've seen connects people the best, I think.
Mm.
I can go to different countries and meet different people who don't speak the same language as me, and they can communicate with me with music. We have that common bond, and it's incredible.
Well, I see even the bond with campus when you all are, I get to see you practice and perform, which isn't all that often, but when I do, I see that you all have a bond, even though you have your individual roles. Well, thank you very much. And Anna, how about just closing us out? How do you see music just shaping this trajectory of your life that God seems to have you on?
Yeah, so I always wanted to do something with music when I grew up because it's just a big part of my life. And it never really occurred to me that I could help other people, teach other people music. I kind of was always I could be in college choir. And I also hadn't really thought about how I could help other people with what I want to do when I grow up. I thought along the lines of things that I could do rather than what interests me and what would be helpful. And then my mom was like, just do something you like. And so I was like, well, I really want to be a high school teacher. And then I realized I can, instead of participating in music, I can actually inspire kids and teach them music.
Wow.
And so that really solidified, I definitely want to teach people, because I was I want to help people learn music, and I want music to be a part of people's lives it is a part of my life. And what a better way to do that than teaching kids?
That's awesome. Well, you're always welcome back at PCA. So anyway, as the Lord leads, right, in time, but you'd be a blessing to so many, I know. Well, hey, let's just quick around, one or more of you. Let's just reflect a little bit. What does it mean to be a PCA musician for you? And is there any verse, quote, piece of music even that inspires you in the season of life that you're in right now?
I have one that I
Yeah.
wrote down a few minutes ago. It's a Bible verse, and it's actually really commonly used here. I've heard it a lot of times, but that's why it sticks in my head. 2 Timothy 4:7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. And as I thought through doing harder musical things and participating more, I was kind of I can just take the easy route. I can have a more quiet, I don't need to do Allstate. It's fine. And then I realized this is an opportunity for me to spread God's word. This is an opportunity for me to become a better person and a better musician. And how can I say that I fought the good fight if I'm not fighting the good fight? And so I want to be able to, at the end of my high school career, at the end of my college career, at the end of my life, say, I fought the good fight, I finished the race, and I've kept the faith.
Amen. Anybody else want to share anything? That's a pretty powerful closeout.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Well, that's a wrap, everybody. We're so grateful. Thank you, the 5 of you, for your willingness to share some of your journey. And we pray for you as you go. Pray for the concerts that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we just can't wait to hear that music as you and others, teamwork that Chloe Dye was talking about, pulling it all together. But I know that it comes in the vocal side and in the instrumental side. And when you both come together, it is really, really powerful. So ladies and gentlemen, when you're listening to this, just know that there's some concerts coming up. I recommend you come in person. You can watch them online, but being here in the room, there's nothing like it. So God bless you. We'll see you on campus soon.